Peace. Happy now. And now is the vibrate. That boy good. Now is the vibrate. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now, man. When you right now, what you're doing, everybody stop. And in the moment, look at what you're doing. I bet you're doing something that brings you some type of great peace. You know, if you choose to, because some people looking at it, they might be doing something that you think not peaceful, you're at work or something, but it's like, nah, just really, really look at where you're at right now. Like you're doing something where you're safe, you're healthy, you obviously have some type of internet connection, you're watching this video, you know, things is good right now. But, I need to stop saying but like something bad. That's something too that I want to eliminate, because but is almost just, it still carries a vibration where it's like I'm saying this good thing, but, and I don't really mean but when I'm saying, you know, when I'm talking, so I need to eliminate that. But what I want to speak on is right quick, overstanding the lessons from the guides, from the spirit guides, high self, ancestors. Because matter of fact, too, I want to speak a little bit on my situation lately where, in fact, this thing keep focusing in and out. Make sure I get in front of the camera. But with me losing my laptop, you know, well, basically my laptop, well, books that got stolen with laptop and all the, a few books in it, other material, matter of fact, some orders of jewelry that I had for people, you know what I'm saying? So that got taken, and then the night before, previously, my phone had got taken. And it's all out, you know what I'm saying? Me on my journeys, you know what I'm saying, being out. And I realized, like, of course, like whenever you're meditating, you know, you clean up your karma, everything is going good in life, and you get hit with one of those situations, and then you know, that old ego, that old human in you come out and be like, man, like where that came from? Why me? You know what I'm saying? This and that. But you quickly realize, you know what I'm saying, that is just your ego being harmed. So, like, say for instance, when my book sack, when I woke up and noticed my book sack was gone, you know, it's funny because I done been through this situation in a high vibrational state, like as far as somebody stealing something very valuable, or misplacing something very valuable, where I realized, all right, I have to maintain, you know, a high vibrational state of mind. You know, like, of course my humanity wants to worry and be like, you know, where's my laptop? But that doesn't fix anything, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of, when I first noticed it, I tried to stay in that mode, but I ain't gonna lie, my humanity overrode it and kind of was like, come on, Source. Like, please. And when I'm speaking, when I say come on, Source, or come on, you could almost put parentheses, come on, inner source or inner being, come on, myself. Because that's really what I'm talking to. I know I make sure I'm not extending to nothing outside of me. This is all inside of me. This is my inner being that caused this to happen. I know spaghetti monster in the sky, you know what I'm saying? But I was quickly like, no, Source. Just like that, like, no, Source, no, don't do me like that, Source. And I kind of quickly got up, because the timing in between where I kind of woke up earlier that night, in between seeing it gone, I'm like, all right, this just kind of happened, you know, possibly. So I kind of woke up and went walk around the block just looking. And then I constantly was saying, like, I'm going to find, like, I do have my book sack. I have my book sack back. Because you got to vibrate with having it back. So in that moment, too, which you got to be trained, you got to stop and breathe. You got to actually, your body has to be in the vibration of knowing you got your book sack or whatever it is you're looking for back. And so when you're in that panicking mode of like, oh, you know where things at, that is very difficult, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, if anybody remember been following me on Snapchat. And matter of fact, that night my bike got stolen in Baton Rouge, in which I have a video that speaks on that story. Like, I remember like walking down the street, like I got my bike back. I know I'm gonna get it back. I got it back. In fact, I was even walking down the street doing visualizations, like walking down the street, like, yeah, I feel the wind in my, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause my thing too, what you'll start to realize that once you coach your subconscious to get in that mode, and to, once you get your ego away from that, how can I say, that overpowering pessimism, you know what I'm saying? You get your ego from that place and you're just more in a place of optimism and dealing with your spirit, you know, it's more easier too, you know, and then you see the reason of like, all right, why not be optimistic even though I don't see this visually happening with my eyes? Hey, I'm going to be optimistic. I got my bike. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? You know, you start to see like, if all the insane ways of doing things never really work, then why not try these other situations that, although they seem kind of crazy to me, you know, approaching it because I'm not used to it, it's things that, you know, really work, and I just have to, you know, program myself to go, you know, to be comfortable with it. But again, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh man, you know, and I got into that little mode of realizing, understand, all right, everything that happens to me is always for the betterment of my spirit and my spiritual growth. So I started catching the omens within. I was like, well, I was using my cell phone too much, or, you know, matter of fact, because which I have, like I did get away, because when I first had my awakening, I was staying disciplined where I wasn't just grabbing my phone just to go scroll through stuff. And I found myself getting back in that mode where, you know, just scrolling through my timeline just to look at, you know, just scrolling through it, you know what I'm saying? And not really being conscious in my actions in that manner. So, you know, I started seeing the omens and why. Because another reason too, your phone is just a phone, like all that. That's why, again, to another video I spoke on, like, well, when you trying to get some help from like the higher ups, so to speak, you want to deal with your ancestors and not know beings that's, you know, very high. So say, for instance, I deal with Kali Ma. Kali Ma don't give a flying feces about your about your ego. You know what I'm saying? So when Kali Ma help you, and that was the first thing I thought about too. I went straight to in my mind like, oh, come on, Kylie, you ain't had to do it. That's one of the first things I thought too. And it's another thing too, when you dealing with these beings and deities, realize this is also, in essence, you speaking to yourself. That's why I say crazy people, not crazy. But you are kind of speaking to your own, the Kali Ma energy. Me even dealing with that energy is a part of an energy, that an archetype that is within my being. So it's like, come on, inner being, you ain't had to do it like that. Come on, the Kali Ma portion of my inner being. Why you had to, you know, teach the lesson this raw and this hard, you know? And that's another thing, and keeping it real with an open dialogue with my spirit guides and higher self. I'm like, come on, y'all could have just told me, hey, now is the time to really stop playing with your computer and your phone. Are we gonna get it stolen? You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I started like having that dialogue with them. I'm like, you know, come on, like y'all could have just hit me with a clear, cognizant thought, in which I had to keep it real with myself though. And they said that too, but it's like in the past though, how many times we done kind of shot a straight line to you and you low-key ignored it. And I'm like, y'all got me. Because that's another lesson too, with ignoring my intuition, because that night that my phone got stolen, I actually heard the person that in essence stole my phone, you know. And the voice in my head, my higher self was telling me, be careful. As I'm watching this person, so basically where I was sleeping at, they had a little trash can out, is on the sidewalk, and people passing, you know, and like some people, you know, looking for cans and stuff like that. But I could tell that it was a person that either was different people, and I know the universe wasn't working like that in that moment, but it had to be the same person, because I kept hearing somebody going through the trash. And a small little voice, you know, it's always the kind of like the little quiet voice. It was like, hey, be careful, that person, whoever that is, really frequent frequenting this area a lot, you know what I'm saying? They're frequently passing. But I kind of like, I'm tired, everything all good. And that's the thing. I had a notion from my intuition telling me, hey, all right, even though things are all good and you are a high vibrational being, hey, right now in this moment, pay attention to this person keep passing by this trash can. You see, and that's too that difference in following that intuition and trying to figure out which voice is right. Is usually the first voice, In mostly all cases is that first subtle voice that gives you, that information, and then it's usually your logical ego that's that loud naysaying voice that's naysaying whatever came up to you first. That's normally the ego. That voice that try to stop you from purchasing things that you already had your heart and mind, or your heart set on buying, is that voice that talks you away from that. But basically, where was I? I pulled myself away from that the actual thought. I'm trying to think where I was in the story. I lost my bike. Matter of fact, y'all deal with me because I'm not gonna I misplaced. All right. Oh, following the intuition. I knew I was gonna get it back, but like another reason again of my phone being stolen in that moment was me ignoring my intuition. What my intuition told me, hey, somebody's passing by this trash can. They being suspicious. Maybe you should kind of stay up and keep an eye on your book sack. But I didn't. I'm like, nope. I want to go to sleep. I ain't, And basically, because another thing too, it's like a forecast, Well, of course, everything is always going good whenever you're doing good deeds all the time. Or, you got your inner being righteous, so you're only dealing with positive, optimistic thoughts. But, again, there's other people floating around. So even though you're creating in your own universe, other people doing things. So that's when the intuition, comes up and be like, hey, watch this situation. Watch this person, you know what I'm saying? So that's basically what happened was, my intuition told me, pay attention, I didn't, so what happened, happened. But that's one of the things you'll start to see is that these omens is coming from your higher self, and it may seem harmful to your ego, you know what I'm saying? Your ego like, oh man, I really, could have used that my phone in the moment, I really could use my laptop, but then again, on another tip too, it was helping me to strengthen my magic and help me strengthen my my feelings of detachment, you know what I'm saying? We're really getting to that mode of, detaching, but not detaching in a way that, give up all material things. Detaching as far as like being able to lose a phone and a laptop and all your things and stay positive enough to remanifest it. Because that's another thing, dealing with magic and being a magi. I also saw that as like a test to my subconscious, a test to, my magic abilities to like, all right, we're going to take it away. Now manifest it, and see how like, and see the steps of you, desiring and that passion going out and how it'll, come back trickle to you. But that situation, as a matter of fact, I also saw it line up for me after a while. And I say after a while, but all right, after this situation, books, all this got taken. So I done got back into that mode, I'm positive. I'm like, all right, that means I'm getting a new laptop. That means a new phone. I'm in this mode now. So I'm positive, and two, again, when your subconscious has seen you deal with this in a resilient manner and seen you manifest things, the more and more you do these things, again, programming, you know what I'm saying? By habit, my subconscious is used to seeing me lose something abruptly, quote unquote lose, and then manifest it again, you know what I'm saying? By continuing that, then my subconscious sees like, all right, see, manifest things with the quickness. So even if something was to be lost, we could manifest it quick. So again, testing my magic abilities, you start to see, but also, so picture this is the first time in a long time after that situation where the thoughts were still kind of trying to reoccur, you know, of like, damn, my book saying, like that type of feeling. I done already got away from it spiritually, but again, this is how diet get at you too, because, you know, the little cookies and little sugars, and even though, again, you could eat vegan stuff, if it has an overload of sugars and salts, it's still going to feed that demon, the sugar and salt demon, you know what I'm saying? So in essence, whenever I was dipping into those little foods, because of the indirect or low-key depression from, you know, where my ego's still trying to hold on to the depression of losing it, and I'm trying to stay in my higher being, so that little battle going on. But picture, I kind of hit like a little point where I'm like, man, you know, all right, so we got to make something happen. Like I kind of got into that strong, but a thing too, this is why you have these contrasts, in which is always brought up, how contrast is to, you know, further your rocket. So say, for instance, the more resistance on that rubber band, the further, you know, the further that rocket flies, you know what I'm saying? So the more things that got taken away from me, the more I'm asking, you know, and putting things in my vortex, the more I'm like, come on, source, you know, come on, source. You know, I'm trying to think of little phrases I was saying, like, you know, help me to manifest, you know, some funds, help me to manifest some more beads, help me to, you know, help me to get these orders back, you know what I'm saying? Just all these different things, and it's creating, you know, a resistance on that rubber band, and then that rubber band flying. So picture that day when I'm feeling like that, when I'm like, bro, I'm at the library, you know, as a matter of fact, I called my mom's to let, you know, because mom still worried about me like, like I'm a little kid. So I called her and was like, hey, you know, everything's straight, this and that, you know, because I'm pretty sure with family members seeing my social media and stuff like that, I know sometimes things will travel word of mouth sometimes. So I just was like, you know, everything's straight. I'm good, you know, don't worry about me, everything. And I could hear, you know, her worrying. I'm like, look, everything great, everything good. And even what's funny though, reason why she was feeling a little worried, because again, that inner ego had a little bit of worriness within me, and I had a little doubt come out with it. Even though I was staying positive, a little doubt came out of my voice, and I know she picked up on it, you know, because that's the portal. Your mom's is the portal you come through, you know what I'm saying? That reading your energy, you know what I'm saying? Even without metaphysical practice and meditation, you know what I'm saying? That's just natural, you know, womb man power, you know what I'm saying? That energy. But picture, you know, so I'm sitting there and I'm just feeling like, you know, all right, I gotta manifest some more beads and revenue for these orders, you know, I gotta, you know, just make things. So I'm trying to stay in the moment and stay positive, but also like asking and launching these rockets. And so that day, I end up going to the store and running into, matter of fact, the beautiful being, Miss Teeny, blessings. The matter of fact, if y'all haven't seen my latest videos, Teeny has the shop How handle only with love. And she asked me, you know, she was like, I would love to do a photo shoot, you know what I'm saying? Do, you know, take photos of my jewelry and let you be the model. I'm like, cool, you know what I'm saying? That sound, but right then and there, everything got answered, you know what I'm saying? Where they, and been helping me out ever since, you know what I'm saying? And seeing like, well, you know, when you get pushed, when those, you know, that rubber band get pulled far back, that rocket of desire get launched further and faster, you know, and allows those manifestations to come, which indirectly, that's why sex magic is very powerful, because when you're in that moment, you know, that energy is like strong and vibrant, you know, when that orgasmic energy, when you focusing on what you're trying to manifest, is strong because it got a passion behind it. Same thing with, you know, with dealing with contrast, or contrast to have you push you so far into a hole where you just desiring so much stronger. Like, you know, how I made I did a video about this, how resistance makes stronger, and like how a person that's in an unfavorable situation, like in the, you know, in the hood, things of this nature where they don't have, and how they, you know, they make it out strongly because, you know, it was a lot of resistance. You know, those nights of just drinking water to feed hunger and all that just made resistance to where, you know, the desires became stronger and shot them right out of, you know, out of that situation. But again, for a full circle, just dealing with the guides and how, you know, certain omens come to you, and then me realizing like, all right, how those situations really did show that it was for the better. So again, my subconscious was allowed to see like, all right, you lost all your things, and then within 2 days or 3 days of it, you know what I'm saying, you would kind of was getting close. The ego was scratching at you, you know, the pessimism was about to come out of your ego again. But then that pessimism, in essence, I ain't say the pessimism created resistance, but in essence, you know, it popping up made me kind of keep like, come on, Source, you know, like just come on into being. We got to make this happen. You know, we got this, you know what I'm saying? So it created a stronger asking, a stronger, you know, affirming, a stronger, you know, desire in essence. So you start to see how that stronger, you know, desire helps to manifest things. So I got to see that in full, you know, manifest with it, you know, within my face, to see me go from, you know, quote unquote losing my belongings to it pushing me to a place of creating a strong rocket of desire, to me, you know, meeting you know, Miss Tina, and getting in a situation where now, you know what I'm saying, there's more opportunities coming my way, and it's all, you know, coming out of that moment, you know what I'm saying. I knew, again, like knowing that everything will be, you know, everything is always great, you know what I'm saying, where you getting your material things taken away from you is something that's just for the ego. Your spirit not worried about this material matrix. That's another thing. This is a material matrix. So again, when these higher beings help you, they don't care about your phone, your laptop. Matter of fact, because on the high level, they like, shit, we manifest some more. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Get that out of the way. What's better in this moment is for you to learn a lesson, to get away from these electronics, to get your being back to where it needs to be. And ever since then, I've been, you know, reading more, doing things that benefits my being more. I've been getting back to meditating almost all times of the day. But no matter where I'm sitting at, I kind of take the time to, you know, meditate, compared to where I started, you know, getting away from that. And then when it would be time for me to go into a meditation or something, I'm got that phone in my hand, you know, or something of that nature, you know. So again, there's higher situations at hand when you think it's something bad. That flat tire was to slow you down, for you to get help by the person that's going to do business with you, or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? But that's how things line up. And that's where, you know, you start to see the art of allowing things, you know what I'm saying? Where it's not so much about forcing your way through things, but it's just, you know, focusing on certain things and allowing things to happen, and act off of inspired impulses. Whatever just really just like feel like, all right, I gotta do this in this moment. You know, and you could really feel that it's coming from the spirit, inspiration, inspired. Like you really feel inspired to do it. Then, you know, then you acting physically. But for the most part, you know, we just kind of sitting alone like a tree, like nature, you know. We just, you know, like a kid, how a kid just living life, you know, and it's not like trying to force all these things to manifest. It's just living happily, and all the things, you know, come to it, you know. Because in most cases, a kid living happily, like before kids even have their words, they didn't ask for those toys that they get and all these good little things, you know. It just comes to them through the art of allowing, you know what I'm saying, through just being, you know. The trees get its water and its sunlight. You know, it's just being, you know, and all that comes to it because it trusts the process, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with us. We have to trust the process. So always understand that it is nothing bad is ever really happening. Like, only time something bad is really happening, you'll kind of catch it from your intuition where, like, say for instance, you kind of still new to your spiritual growth, so you still kind of got some karma to work off, you know what I'm saying? Then in some cases, yeah, some of those situations may be karmic situations, but once you get to a certain level of where your everyday is dealing with spirit and high self, and you're always living and being righteous, inwardly and outwardly. And say for instance a situation like a flat tire, or a family member die, or transition, or whatever the case may be, that these are not bad situations. These are situations to to help you elevate, you know what I'm saying, to take you to that next level in essence. Matter of fact, and to a certain point where when I did, like, and I think I said that, but like when I really start getting that mode of dealing with my inner being, I'm like, all right, so this just means a new computer. So this just means a new book sack. I guess I'm going to get a fresher one. I'm going to get a designer book sack this time. You know what I'm saying? Like, knowing that, bro, I'm a magi. I make this happen. You know what I'm saying? Even down to where if it wasn't my guys, it's also some part of some type of inner thought or something that I had dealing with my book sack being taken also. This all has to do, all your outside situations deal with your inner being. So that's your high self, the ancestors within your DNA, your divine parents, that's all within you, you know what I'm saying? So that's all that's in you is manifesting outside of you. So, but realize that these lessons, you know what I'm saying, is just helping you for something bigger and better, So if somebody stole your car, this and that, somebody stole your Geo Prism that you've been having for 10 years, it's a good reason behind that. The universe trying to bless you with a better car, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's, matter of fact, because my screen was cracked on my phone, it was kind of causing a little blur on the camera, so whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm sitting right here in front of a new phone right now, so that's how it works. And always staying positive. A lot of people say, oh man, it's hard to try to stay optimistic and positive, but then once you start to see that, all right, my pessimism don't help the situation either, so let me find some type of breathing technique. And that's where the meditation and breathing, because when you breathe slowly and it allows the anger to dissipate and to be released, then you can become more optimistic after a situation like that happens. But when you eat meat, gotta get, I'm just playing, meat eaters eat what you want, but it's a fact that it does bring you to that vibration of those animals. I'm not trying to fuss with you. It is what it is. Do your thing. But when you eating meat and not meditating and just dealing with all these lower vibrations, then you're gonna be wondering why I'm feeling like this and wonder why I'm feeling like that. It's because of those situations. But again, this is all lessons from the higher self, and it's all things that are it's what's better for the soul. Matter of fact, I think of old Zen Story. I think of what his brethren, he was traveling. It's like a traveling ashram, him and his students, and like everywhere they went, they was dealing with a type of Zen practice that wasn't embraced by all the other factions of Zen practices. And I don't know how, this is just a little story, matter of fact, from what it is. Zen, I forgot the name of the book, but it's a Zen book that has a bunch of stories. I done spoke on it before, but basically they were traveling around and they were just looking for different places to, try to lay their head and get help, but everybody was pushing them away, making them go through that struggle. And the students, what I'm saying, like at the master stand like optimistic and, like just staying in good, just staying in a high vibrational place. And the students like, bro, man, how you stand like this, man? We getting deprived of food, this and that. But he was like, It's like I got my help, you know, like we're here, you know, learning. Like basically I learned from all those situations, you know what I'm saying? Those situations helped me to grow. You know, like finding the silver lining in the situation and not looking at, you know, oh, well, this bad happened, this bad. Like, well, no, look at what it made me notice in you know, in a beautiful light, and how I could grow from this, you know, situation. Matter of fact, and two, that's a personification of to like the Moses story, where, you know, like they wondering like, all right, man, we've been in the wilderness, where the food at, Noah, where this, where that. And Noah like, look, chill, be blessed, trusting, you know, trusting the inner being, you know, trusting the soul, know that we're gonna be taken care of, you know what I'm saying? But kind of somewhat different in the story of the Zen, because it was more of teaching the lesson of like that the bad situations, quote unquote bad or not bad, but they're just, you know, spiritual lessons, you know, that teach you and help you to grow on a spiritual level. But that is basically it. There's nothing bad happening. It is certain omens that are there to help you grow. If the car got totaled, you know, and your health's still good, it's meant for you to get a different car. If the house burned down, it's meant for you to get a different house. Matter of fact, even down to losing a spouse, losing a child, you know, it was motivation for you to bring in another seed into this world, to find you another spouse, you know what I'm saying? Like, all situations are, you know, moving you into a different place, you know, to help you grow. And despite what your ego may think, because it dislikes change, and it especially dislikes abrupt change, but no matter what it thinks, all these situations are for you to grow, you know, and for your soul to benefit from. So never forget that. But peace. Happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now.